Howdy, everyone. Welcome to Tilson Live. It is Tuesday. It's 2 o'clock. We are live on Facebook, live on YouTube, coming at you once again, trying to give you all the information about building a home on your land. I'm Eric Aller, joined as I am every single week by Dawn Dantzler. How are you, Dawn?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great, folks. We want you to come in here and join us. Let's have a chat together. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're building. Tell us what part of the process that you're in. Drop all of your questions into the chat because we have our personal favorite subject today, which is what, Dawn? What are we doing?
Ask us anything.
Okay.
About building on your land.
Oh no! We're opening it all the way up. Open it all the way up. Ask us anything. We'll tell you what we want to. You want to talk about the Ukraine? We'll try and talk about that. You want to talk about monkeypox? We're ready to talk about monkeypox. We could talk about the midterm elections. There's midterm elections coming up. Most important elections in the history of the world. I've read.
Until the next one.
Correct, and just a little more important than the last ones that we were told were the most important. But
always,
nonetheless, do exercise your right. Get out and vote. I think there's primaries going on all over the place, so do that. But truly, all kidding aside, we are here to answer any and all of your questions about building a home on your land. Obviously, predominantly we build in rural areas of Texas. That's kind of our thing. We've been doing it for 90 years. So we are subject matter experts in that. But if you want to ask questions about anything else, we would love to help you with that too. But we can talk about design. We can talk about finance. And we can talk about site preparation, what to look for with land. We can talk financing. We can talk utilities. We can talk all of that kind of stuff. Time frame, supply chain. We're here to talk about that. We'll have a much better conversation around supply chain next week. Next week for sure. We have a very special guest coming next week. So you want to stay tuned for that. But yeah, so folks, jump into the chat. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're building, maybe what you're building, what part of the process you're in. We love to hear from you. So, I forgot to mention.
Okay, sorry. Ashley asking about my favorite. I know. Who's going to win the trial of the year, Johnny Depp or Amber Heard?
There we go. Yep, so to answer your question,
big news right now. Very big
news.
Yeah,
Ashley, this morning I hear the judge, it did not go well for Johnny's team this morning as Amber's defense team rested. That's all I saw. It was a headline. I didn't read it because you don't read the article. You skip straight to the comment section on a thing like that. You don't even bother with the article. Just straight to the comments because that's the entertaining part anyway. But yeah.
I think officially they're both going to lose. That wasn't the point.
Yeah. Of course. Whoever those attorneys are, those who's going to win. That's who's going to win this lawsuit. The attorneys always win the lawsuit.
Yes, the attorneys will win.
Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. Attorneys always win the lawsuits. But yeah, tell us where you're watching from, where you're building. I know we got some folks joining us. What's going on?
We got Jesse joining us. They are headed on a road trip to their kindergarten graduate. Yay!
Kindergarten graduations are happening. You might even have some high school and collegiate graduations. I don't know, but kindergarten's that's a milestone. You bet.
That's awesome. Then we have a question coming over. We've got our home is being built in Mico on sloped land. The forms have been built and we'll have about an 8 feet high slab in the back with a side entry garage. Can you tell me how much of any of the drive directly in front of the garage is installed by Tilson? If none, do you have any suggestions on or recommendations on solutions bringing grade level to the garage entrance?
Sure. Yeah. So what I don't know is if there was any included in the contract. It doesn't sound like there probably was. So traditionally our base price is for the house, basically the perimeter of the house all the way around. It doesn't include anything outside of the brick or stone or foundation. So there would typically be no driveway or approach done on the garage. There are some areas where we do include that. Some of the subdivisions and cities where we build, that is required. So we do, but it's a very rare occurrence. So I'd say like 97% of the time, there's not an approach included unless you and your sales consultant and stakeout superintendent got together and added it into the contract. So if that's not the case, which it sounds like that's not the case, then maybe closer to when the house is, not at this point, it's a little early now, but closer to when the house is done, like maybe when the exterior of the home is on, when it starts to become time for basically when the exterior is done, whatever brick, stone, masonry, or hardy is going to go on the outside, that'd be the time to get a contractor, probably a dirt contractor out there and see if they could, what it's going to take to get some material brought in for that approach. Now, remember, you don't have to do the entire garage width, just where the overhead doors coming in potentially. But that'd be the thing to do is to have material brought in. And where you are, you're gonna have to have it may be a ways to get material brought in, because that's the thing about the hill country. It's rocky. So getting, clean fill dirt that's not just rocks you got to truck it a ways. I mean, you still get it, but you have to truck it in from quite a ways in a lot of cases. So that's the thing to do, is to have material hauled in. So.
Okay. Makes sense. All right. We got Tracy, hi from Henley, finishing up electrical, plumbing, and framing so we can get inspected. Awesome. Nice. And they are building a Frio. That's great.
Very cool. Very cool.
We got Martina, who is in Killeen building an Avant. They have framing. That's awesome.
Framing. Awesome. Congratulations.
We got Manuel saying hello. Hey.
Hello, Manuel.
We've got Rachel. She's building in Nottingham and Gillespie County, hoping that her framing starts this week.
We hope so too, Rachel.
We got Shaloma building a Livingston D at Republic Grand Ranch. Had our stakeout last Friday. Juan Moore is awesome. Oh, great.
I agree, and I saw him just earlier here, and we were visiting about one in Republic Grand Ranch. So apparently they're selling them in places that there aren't even roads yet. So we're trying to figure out how to get back there on a pig trail.
Wow.
It's not hers, but it's a different one.
Okay. That's always fun.
You're a great salesman there. Great salesman.
All right. Well, Jesse is sharing on their kindergarten road trip. They have gone to Cabela's and they're headed to Buc-ee's. That's awesome. Love that. She's listening and learning about home building too. All right. Starting young. Here's a lot of money in being a tradesperson.
Fun Texas fact about that particular Cabela. I'm guessing it's Cabela's there in Buda. So we're going to assume that it is because it fits my narrative better. So if it's not, just don't tell us.
All right.
But the Cabela's there. So our Buda location that was built in like 1983, so almost 40 years ago, was originally back behind there. We had 90 acres behind there, and we had an easement that went all the way to I-35, which is where we had an 80-foot tall freeway sign. So our property wasn't on the highway, but it was behind it. And then when they were expanding in and putting in Loop 4 around Buda, which is now where the Cabela sits, we were going to lose our big sign and right away and all that. And so we sold that 90 acres and just about made it where we could break even and buy 2.5 acres in San Marcos, Texas, which is where we are today. So there's your fun story.
Oh, wow.
The price of real estate from 1983 to 2001.
Wow. All right. We've got Linda. Howdy from Colorado Springs. I'm wondering if you do or can you install the Schluter system for waterproofing on tile floors and showers? The sales consultants don't know.
Okay. So we prefer not to.
All right.
Now, the Schluter is good for remodel. It's also good for like wood subfloor. I want to say that because of the little house that my sweet wife has been rehabbing. That was one of the systems that we researched. We didn't end up going with it. We ended up going with a different one. But the Schluter system was one that we did look at. I think it's very good for like a wood subfloor type of system. The one drawback I felt like of the Schluter system was that it only came in fixed sizes, was one of the drawbacks. So you have to, you can't just do whatever custom tile shower size you want to. You are hamstrung by whatever dimensions they sell them in. At least that was one of the reasons we didn't, and we just preferred the waterproofing method as other. On a slab, I really prefer where we do the drop foundation using the actual rubber liner like that we use. That is really the way to go and the true FHA drain system that we do. That's really the preferred method for us and our plumbers. Obviously, we're warranting these houses, so we don't want to have to deal with this stuff. Schluter's a good system. It's just not our preferred method of the waterproofing. So it's also it's pretty expensive as well. They're not inexpensive.
Okay. All right. Danielle is saying she's building the Canyon D in Guadalupe County. Got framing, siding, and some stuff on the roof. Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Hopefully we'll add to the stuff on the roof and we'll.
Yeah. That would be probably Rhino liner that you're looking at. Owens Corning works with, they use a product called Rhino lining that's good for a little over 60 days, in fact, for doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then we've got Theo coming in from Robertson County, Aggie Land,
Howdy,
building the
Theo.
Polidoro. Concrete poured and foundation complete, ready for framers and the rest of the show. Awesome.
Awesome.
It's going to be great. We got Sally. Hi, hoping to close on our modified Whitney D in Colorado County by the end of June. Awesome.
Wonderful.
That's great
we
to
hope
hear.
you do too. We'd love to do that for you.
Yeah, we would. We got Megan. Hey, y'all, just did stakeout and color appointment is the 31st, building
cool.
a Travis A with board and batten. So excited to see progress.
Oh,
That's
beautiful,
awesome.
Megan. Thanks for sharing.
You're going to have fun at that appointment.
Yeah.
You just pick out all the things. Ashley is agreeing that RGR is selling without streets. They went off-road bumping around to get to the lot we bought in Section 6. So it was probably her that they were talking about.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah, Section 6, what you're looking at.
All right. We've got Kyle, who's building Canyon A. His brick was delivered yesterday. Yay!
All right.
Waiting on drywall install. Wade was our salesperson out of San Marcos, but he left. Who would be the new point of contact for us? Should I contact the office?
No, Kyle,
if you're under construction, your builder is actually your main point of contact right now.
Yeah.
But if you are looking for somebody in the office to talk to, you can call Holly, the regional manager there, and she can help.
Yeah. Holly, be glad to help you out if there's some question you need there. But for right, yeah, like Don said, once you're under construction, that building superintendent is your point of contact. So.
Mm-hmm. Linda's sharing that, by the way, they had their water well drilled last Monday and got good water at 140 feet. Now waiting on Wise County Electric Co-op to finish power into the new subdivision.
All right. You don't usually see the word subdivision and Wise County interacted in the same sentence. That's just different for me. I mean, I love it. I think it's cool, but Decatur and subdivision, they don't strike me as ever colliding in the same sentence. So progress is being made, I suppose, in Wise County, Texas.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's another indicator of massive growth in the area.
Yeah, the exodus away from the master plan communities.
Yeah, hopefully you're not waiting too long for that.
Well, she does get a water well. I mean, I think subdivision is a loose term there. If they have a water well, it's...
Well, I was more referring to the electric co-op because I know that's not really something going fast right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But maybe since it's a whole subdivision, they'll be faster because it's multiple people. Maybe. We got Rebecca coming in from Kyle.
Howdy, Rebecca. Thanks for joining us again.
We've got Bona of Parker D from Madisonville, Texas, building now. Awesome.
Beautiful. Awesome.
We've got someone over on YouTube. Hi, all. Linda here. Just had design pics yesterday in the Melissa building a Canyon C in Grayson County. Awesome.
Nice. So all the way north. We're competing with Wise County for who's building further north.
All right, we got another one for YouTube. We're watching Matomble, building San Jacinto and Milam County, framing, siding, roofing, electrical, HVAC, and paint in progress. Wow. Busy. That's a lot going on at once. That's awesome.
That's great.
All right, and Polly is sharing. Hello from Great Town, Fredericksburg. July is getting closer every day. This one they're going to start. Current house went on the market yesterday. By the way, it would be a great location for a model home. Have a great day. Love being in the Tilson family. Awesome. Thank you.
We're glad to have you, Polly. And while we love, I'm sure it's a beautiful house and beautiful piece of property, we have a backlog of model homes, in fact. So we're good right now on model homes.
Yes.
We owe a few around the state as it is. So that's funny.
Yes, absolutely. All right, we got Ann. Howdy from Frisco, building in Navarro. Just can't make up my mind which wonderful model. Is there any way to do solar?
Okay, and so we get the requests from time to time. We don't end up having a lot of people that end up doing it because it's a little bit cost prohibitive, and also depending to what degree you go solar, you need a place to store batteries. You need a place for battery storage. Mm-hmm. So something to think about because it's not a small amount of space and it does generate quite a bit of heat, but it's something to consider. So we've done some like solar water heaters here and there, very, very few. But we really don't know. I know of any that we have done. Now we certainly have had customers after the fact that had solar brought in, did the array on the south or west facing portion of the roof, and they've done it, but we just haven't. I mean, broadly speaking, we haven't been confident enough in a contractor to be able to say, yep, here's what we're doing. We're a little old school. We get a little nervous about penetrations in the roof. We feel like there's enough as it is between attic vents, plumbing vents, that kind of stuff, chimneys and so anyway, it's just not been something that we have a lot of experience with. But not to say that we wouldn't do it, but just something that if you have more information on it, we'd be glad to have a more one-on-one conversation with you.
Okay.
It'll probably happen in Frisco before it happens in Navarro County. I can tell you that.
True. All right. Linda saying thanks for the info on the Schluter system.
No problem.
We got Amy just finished framing our Angelina seat in the Grove, Texas. Severe storms coming tonight. Got to get through this storm season in this old 80-year farmhouse. Ooh.
Well, here's the good news, Amy. If it is in fact an 80-year farmhouse, it has seen a lot of storms.
Much worse. Yeah.
So it should be able to weather this. But yeah, it's been raining here off and on all day where I am. So
yeah, it's a rainy week.
Terrible. Not a lot of wind, but definitely rain.
Yeah. All right. We got Anthony coming in from Mico. Our house will be dried in as soon as they hang the front doors. Making progress. Awesome.
Beautiful. All right. Thanks, Tony.
All right. We got Chris, who is building a Wimberley above Possum Kingdom. I was curious if you get an upgrade to house trim. Do you also have to upgrade the garage trim, or can it remain as the basic trim?
So, Chris, it's typically a whole house deal. We're not going to get any kind of a price break going from, leaving the 3.5-inch base and 2.25-inch casing in the garage. And really all you're talking about, quite honestly, is the base. Because the door casing comes already attached to one side of the door, and then we just ship the rest. So the doors come pre-hung with casing on one side of them, and then we put the doors in, and then we case the side opposite of that. That's your interior and exterior doors, really. So there's not any kind of cost. It's a whole house kind of deal, all or none is how that works. Great question.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Nora's asking, hi, I'm building Gonzales C. Picked colors yesterday, thanks to Kathy at Melissa, Texas. Signed off on our plans. Still stakeout to finish as a blip on the survey. One of the pins is missing and need to get the surveyor out again.
Yeah, I hate that. And we tend to do the best we can to find them, but again, we are site evaluators. We are not surveyors, and so unfortunately, that's a critical component. And while I hate to hear that it's setting us back time, it is that's a seeming like a minor thing that could actually turn out to be a very, very major thing if not properly run all the way down that trail. And we speak from experience. Okay, so we'll get the surveyor out there, get that one located, and we'll be back up and running. But good news, things can happen concurrently. Like I said, get the plan signed off on. There's some other things we can keep working on while we're waiting on that to get flagged.
Okay. All right. Shalom is asking, is there a specific time in the building process where you recommend we work with our alarm system for wiring and getting a soft water system?
Okay. So on the alarm wiring, any kind of structured wiring or low voltage wiring like that, obviously in all cases, I need you to be very transparent and have open communication with your building superintendent, with your builder. Get in contact with them, find out what their preferred timing on that is. Traditionally, what we've seen is that we had someone mention earlier they had the electric in and plumbing in, and we're waiting on inspections. That's typically the best time. So there's kind of a lull there where we get the HVAC roughed in, the plumbing roughed in, the electrical roughed in, and then we are waiting on, and they come out at one time typically and inspect the frame, the electrical, the plumbing, HVAC, and there's a bit of a lull right there. That's a pretty good time to have someone come out and pre-wire for an alarm, if that's even necessary anymore. All the ones I've seen lately are all wireless. They're all done after the fact, and they're all wireless. But if you want to pre-wire, that's the time to do it. Speaker systems, that kind of stuff. So get with your superintendent on that and schedule that. And that's okay as long as you're not interfering with any of the work that's already been done. So, we can't have the alarm guy tapping into anything that our electricians have done, that kind of thing. I don't know why they would, but you never know. And then on water softener, so hopefully, and I don't know if you're under construction or not, so please forgive me. If you're not under construction yet, you need to get with your sales consultant and be sure that we have roughed in for a water softener. What that means is the water softener, the actual device, is going to go somewhere, typically in a garage. And it needs to have, we plumb to it. It needs to have a drain for it. It usually has a 110 outlet there ready to go for it. And then if not, you can still add water softeners after the fact. However, your hose bibs, your outside water faucets, are also going to be on that soft water. Not a huge deal. Just don't go watering your plants with that, because long term, it's salt water. Anytime you buy a water softener, you can go to Home Depot, get those water softener pellets. It's salt. That's how you make water softer. So anyway, so if you rough in for water softener with us, in other words, if it's done beforehand and when the slab's being put in, all that kind of stuff, we actually put the hose bibs, the exterior water faucets, those are what's called home runs. We run them on hard water. So they will be on the regular hard water, not piped through the water softener. However, if it's done after the fact, they obviously will be. So I don't know what part of the process that you're in. If you're in process, just wait till after the house is finished to do the water softener. And if you're in the pre-construction portion, the sales portion, just rough in for a water softener, and your sales consultant has a price for that, and we get that done for you. And then you can add the water. The price doesn't include the water softener. Be clear about that. The price just is for us to rough it in.
Okay. And then we have Glen Building in Lake Palestine area. Contractors run the AC when working in dusty conditions. At what construction stage will doors and windows be locked up when no work is happening?
Okay. Well, Glenn, it depends. So will contractors run AC when working in dusty conditions? Potentially, yes. But that's also, and I know Dawn's talked about this before on the show, we encourage people so we put that 4-inch thick media filter in there. That's what it's for. Now, we're ordinarily, they're good for about one month per inch. Let's say it's a 3-inch wide media filter. That'd be good for about 3 months. What we're going to recommend that you do is probably after the first 30 days or so that you're in there, go ahead and change that media filter out, put a new one in there. You can get them at any big box retailer. You can get them on Amazon, you get them at McCoy's. Put a new one in there, and that'll help get that construction debris out of there. Because even after the house is cleaned, there's still dust and debris and stuff like that floating around from new construction. So, but yeah, they can run the AC. Sometimes it's for climatization. The house, if it is at that point, is typically pretty tight. That's why, that's really why it's important to run the AC system, is to try and extract that humidity out of the house, the moisture out of the home.
Right.
So it's not necessarily even just a comfort thing for the workers while they're in there working. It's really so we don't want moisture trapped inside the home. So that's that. So the answer is yes. Just change the filter out. And then at what stage could doors and windows locked up? So understanding that everything in there is covered by our builder's risk insurance policy, as long as it's under your personal property. And so it's really on us. We don't want any damage. I've seen it typically at sometime after the sheetrock stage. Well after the sheetrock stage, sometimes around when the cabinets get delivered, that's when we typically see them start locking the house up when they're not working. Certainly talk to your building superintendent if it's a comfort thing for you. Call your building superintendent, your builder, and say, hey, when do y'all typically start locking up? And because that's one thing, and all the workers that go out should have a job key to be able to get in, which is the one that you received before construction started, or right when construction started. But what we really don't want to have happen is, maybe the superintendent arranged to have the home unlocked for somebody. They drive all the way out there from where, and it's locked up. So we really don't want to have that happen. But anyway.
Okay. All right. We've got Marilyn who's tuning in. She's building in Cleveland, Texas.
All right, Miss Marilyn, thanks for tuning in.
Jesse's giving us a road trip update. They just passed the San Marcos office.
I know exactly where they are. I can triangulate like a satellite between Cabela's, Buc-ee's, and San Marcos, Tilson. Like, I know where you are.
All right. We have property in Lago Vista. We are in love with Tilson. We have been in touch with Georgetown. They've told us that Tilson will not be building in Lago Vista going forward. Can you guys give us more information?
Yeah,
so kind of like Ross and Rachel and Friends, we're on a break.
Mm-hmm.
We're on a break. Eric, if you want to go into a little bit more detail.
Yeah, Lago Vista is one of those places.
We're not saying never in Lago Vista. We're in a timeout for a minute.
Yeah, so they're one of the places that has experienced explosive growth because of their proximity to Austin. Okay, kind of one of the last bastions of pretty lakefront or lake area subdivisions, now city, that is accessible still to the greater Austin area. So they've just seen an explosive amount of growth that, quite frankly, they were not prepared for. And so they, in our opinion, they've reacted their choice in a way that makes it extremely difficult for permitting. It's arduous, it's painstaking, time consuming, and anyway, it's unrealistic to put the kind of burdens on customers and builders that they're putting on them, in our opinion. The city of Austin did the same thing. The city of Houston did the same thing. The city of Schertz has done the same thing. And so there are some areas where if we can't deliver even a reasonable, understanding that experience right now is very, very difficult anyway, just because of all the supply chain struggles and inflation struggles and everything like that, like to add on that with a municipality that makes it even more cumbersome. It's just not something we're going to put a customer through. We can't control it enough. So that's really where we are on that. We do have some under construction there. We even have some that are on contract, but we are not writing any new contracts in the city of Lago Vista right now until they have a better process in place for permitting, and we'll go from there. It's not a compliance issue. We've got no issue on compliance. We build in much more difficult places than Lago Vista as far as code or compliance. It has everything to do with the permitting process and just not good communication and not good clarity that we can get from them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Beautiful place. Beautiful place.
All right. That's fair. We have someone asking, how long from color appointment will it take for actual construction to begin? Just curious, since we're seeing a Canyon C in Grayson, the last survey happening this week.
Okay. I think I remember her name was Linda. So, Linda, what we're looking at is, it depends. So there's a lot that has to happen. There's not really a correlation necessarily of color selection to beginning of construction. Grayson County, look, it may be a little while. So you still got to get engineering done. We got to get the foundation design, which is the engineering. We got to get any kind of septic or building permit that we got to get in Grayson County. I don't know if you're doing a loan or not, forgive me. So we got to get a loan commitment. So the appraisal has to be done, loan commitment done. So you could still be potentially looking at another 6 to 8 months beyond whenever the color appointment is before we're able to get started construction, potentially longer. I don't know, between what the slot schedule looks like right now, on being able to have materials and labor and everything ready to go. So,
okay,
your sales consultant give you a better idea for sure.
Yeah. All right, we've got Linda who is saying we are getting a Canyon C built and are wondering if we can get what I call the Texas Star 42-inch door installed on it, like the one in the rock wall.
So the Canyon, let me pull it up real quick and see how, and I know everybody at Tilson knows I'm a sucker for those Texas Star doors. So let's see, what we're mainly looking at is the width. So we for sure do, as you saw, we do 3680 doors, which would be a 42-inch wide, 8-foot tall front door. The trick is to see if that's one that's going to fit on the Canyon without having to modify the plan. I can tell you we can do it. We just may have to modify the plan to be able to do it. So let me look real quick. And we can fit that on the Canyon. That's not going to be an issue. So just get with your sales consultant. Now, if you're under construction, different deal. If it's already gone out to construction, but if we're not under construction, or not in that release phase, then there's a good chance that we can probably do that. If you're just in the design phase, but there's enough room across the foyer of the Canyon to do a 42-inch wide door.
Okay, perfect. We have a question from YouTube on Eric. Do you ever visit sites under construction?
Hold on real quick. Going back to Linda's. What I didn't go in and check.
Go back to Linda.
I didn't go in and check to see that the Texas Star has one that's available in 42-inch. So I don't remember if the rock wall, I don't recall if it has a 42-inch door. Maybe it does. And if it does, then because the program is kind of in flux, like every other supply chain thing. So I just talk to your sales consultant and find out for sure if we can get if the Texas Star one is available in the 42-inch door. I know we do 42-inch doors. I know we do Texas Star ones, and I know we do iron grill with Texas Star. Just got to find out if all those are still available right now.
Yeah. Good disclaimer. So Eric, do you ever visit construction sites?
I go anywhere I want to go. Yes, I do sometimes. Sometimes I do. I have been known to stop by, but yeah, I mean, if there's one on, my route is can tend to be a little bit busy when I'm going from office to office, location to location. But it is certainly not beyond me to pull up we have a Google map that has every single job that we have under construction and what phase they're in. And so it is certainly not beyond me to pull that puppy up. And if I have the time between locations or plan it between locations, I'll roll by 1 or 2 or 12. Just depends. But yes, I've been known to just wander onto a job site. Please don't shoot. It's a silver F-250, unmarked, bald guy.
He usually wears a Tilson shirt though, so you can recognize him.
I come in peace.
Have a hat.
Yeah, come in peace.
I have a key. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
All right, we've got Robert. He's in the queue to meet with his builder out here in Bridgeport. His 5-month waiting list is creeping along. Come on, September 26th. That's awesome.
Come on, Robert.
It'll be here sooner than you think. We know it's hard to wait, but yeah, it'll be here sooner than you think.
And thanks for your great attitude too, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Lenore. Our builder said that he can't schedule the HVAC till the house is dried in, and the HVAC company is scheduling all the way out in July. What can be done in the meantime to keep moving forward?
Yeah, Lenore,
keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's a struggle, and we're experiencing that more and more these days. And a lot of those are from they're on allocation for flex duct for the ductwork itself. So the HVAC companies aren't getting as much the silver ductwork you see up in the attic. They've been, along with everything else, that supply has been basically depleted, and so they're all on what's called allocation. Which means they only get,
which is a fancy word for rationing.
That's right. There's a fancy word for rationing. And so, yeah, and they're, it's a tricky game, right? Like we operate honestly. Okay. Let me put that umbrella over everything, so are they going to send someone out if we schedule it to inspect and see if it actually is dried in? They could. And then we risk losing all that integrity, right? And I know that's not what you're asking us to do. It's believe me, we've thought about all these things. Like, okay, well, it will be dried in by the time they're actually ready to go. So why can't we go ahead and schedule it? We know it'll be dried in, and so we are actively going back and forth with these HVAC contractors and say, guys, we got to come to some kind of it. Like we can't just hit the pause button for 2 months. I guess now it's about 5 weeks away to July, but still, believe me when I tell you, Lenore, that we're out there advocating for some kind of different solution because it's our money being tied up on the ground, right? I mean, we can't move the house forward to closing until we can get HVAC in it. And so we go in like, hey, Mr. Mitch, HVAC contractor, you're kind of doing some damage to our customer experiencing. And oh, by the way, you're kind of holding up us getting paid. And both of those things are a problem for us. So we're looking at different solutions. We're trying to work collaboratively with them to see if they'll be flexible on that. Some have been, some have not been. Obviously, in the Hill Country, they don't have to be very flexible on that. They
right.
So we have to be real careful with that. So anyway, there's other things that can be done. I get it. I'm guessing your plumbing and electrical has probably already been roughed in, and we're just waiting on HVAC. So yeah, it's bad news. That's a reality across the state. Good news, we're 5 weeks away from July. That's about the best news I got on that.
Okay. All right. Martina is asking, how prone are the AC units to mold due to condensation?
Well, I guess it depends, Martina, on where it is. I don't know if you're talking about the unit itself up in the attic, if we're talking about the outside unit. or if you're talking about the actual air registers, there's some above my head. I promise. I'm not looking for signs. So they're. I mean, I think where you're building, if you're in Hamilton, I think we're climate zone 3. Don, maybe you can verify that. Because I think she's an Evant, which is Hamilton County or Coryell County. And if that's the case, the attic is going to be spray foamed, which means there's some condition that goes there. It's part of the conditioned space, so you won't have any issues up in the attic with that. I mean, in the hottest part of the summer, when that AC unit is running, more than it typically, than it is on average, you might have some condensation buildup. But I'm not going to. Mold is certainly not something that you're going to be prone to seeing very much of. But condensation is going to be very, very normal, which is why we have that drain pan underneath the air handlers up in the attic. Even on a spray foam house, it's still going to be in a drain pan, I believe. And that has 2 drains. One is a primary, goes to the nearest bathroom sink, and then the other is a secondary overflow or emergency one, and it goes to the soffit in front of a window. Yes, it goes in front of a window somewhere.
If you see it raining out of that, there's a problem. That's not normal.
Yeah, we don't put them in front of a window just to irritate people. I promise you. We put them in front of a window so that you can see it if it starts dripping. And if you see water dripping out of one of those pipes that sticks out of your soffit, you need to call us, because your water heaters will drain out there if they're in the attic, and your HVAC units will drain out there as well. But both of those are like emergency drains, secondaries. So if you see water draining out those, that means the primary is clogged. You need to call us.
Yep. It's time for servicing. Something's going on. All right. We've got Rodney asking, do you guys build ICF?
We do not, Rodney. No, we don't do any insulated concrete forms right now. That's just not something that we have any experience with.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Jesse, they said they're cracking up as you track them down their road. So tell us where you are now. Give us the update. Yeah. We've got Viviana, who's asking, what is the warranty on house leveling?
Well, there's not really a warranty on house leveling, Viviana. So it's, there's a structural warranty on the home, and you're welcome to reach out to our customer care department and find out about that. But there's a 10-year structural warranty. But here's a shocker for some folks: the house if it all moves and is not level, that's not technically a foundation failure. And sometimes I'm the bad guy for saying that, but the foundations are designed to move as a unit. And as seasons change and then moisture content changes and things like that, your foundation will move. This is not foundation failure. This is foundation failure. So it's not just if it's a little bit out of level, that doesn't necessarily mean the foundation has failed. It means something's typically going on with a moisture situation somewhere. But do, Viviana, reach out to our customer care department and get a hold of Christy or Lynn or Nick or one of the folks over there, Russell, and they'll be glad to answer your questions.
Okay. And Martina is just kind of further explaining her HVAC questions. She says, good. She was thinking of her current carrier unit. They have had issues in HVAC, and the technician said it was molding. So she's just trying to plan for the future on what should actually be happening.
Yeah. Do we verify it's climate zone 3? I didn't hear.
Yes, we did. Yeah, she definitely will have spray foam.
Yeah, you'll have a very low probability of it molding up there.
All right. And then let's see, we've got Linda and Rick, Linda, and I think it was another Linda. They're just talking that they're glad to hear about the process, and they're also building a similar plan. They're really loving the Canyon C plan. And then they were also talking that we've definitely seen some things with time constraints, definitely a hard thing, but definitely part of the process. So their plan right now, they're cleaning out all their current closets so they can be ready for selling the house when the time comes. So it's an awesome attitude. So thank you for that. That's a great plan. That's definitely a project. And that is actually the last question I see. So if anybody has any, please please start typing.
Yep. We are here to answer. We're here
we'll
to answer all these questions. Glad y'all are watching. Glad you're hanging in there with us. We know that there's a lot of folks out there dealing with time delays on all kinds of things. Not just home building, but everything. Remodels, surveys, buying a car. Like it's just madness right now. And we know that it's affecting the experience for a lot of our prospects, a lot of our customers. And, that's why we do these shows every week is to try to just bring that transparency, let you know what's happening week in and week out and kind of what we're doing, which is, again, so we're having a very special guest next week to talk about specifically about supply chain. We're going to have a deep dive into all things supply chain on a much bigger scale than what Tilson deals with. So to help us get a little more perspective for us and our amazing audience of the Tilson family. So,
okay. All right. We've got a couple more questions coming in. Karen is asking about 2-bedroom plans.
What do we got, Dawn?
So we do not technically have a 2-bedroom in our portfolio. We do have a 2-bedroom version of our casita. And then we also can very easily take any of our 3-bedroom plans and make it into a 2-bedroom. The thing to keep in mind with that is, I know Eric's mentioned before, we have to do an upfront appraisal as part of our process. And we find it really hard if you are getting a loan for a 2-bedroom home to get approved and to get that value, because so much of your home value is actually tied up in the number of bedrooms. So that is a consideration to kind of keep in mind if you're not paying cash. If you're paying cash and that's not an issue for you, then absolutely we can make anything into a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, whatever you want to do. It's your house, so we can make that happen for you. And then we have Gina, who is asking our thoughts on waterless water heaters.
So I think what she means is tankless.
Tankless, yeah.
I got hit by the autocorrect today as well. But yeah, tankless water heaters. My thoughts are that if they are gas, so natural gas or propane, I'm a fan. I think they do. I think they're great. I like them on the outside of the home because I'm a home builder that services our own homes. So I like things outside if at all possible. If they are located inside somewhere of the building, I will tell you, particularly if they're gas and you're in a climate zone 3 area, or you have opted to do spray foam in a climate zone 2 area, there are some things we have to, there's certain places we can't locate them because of the, or actually you have to go once we do. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, all that to say, we got to do things a little bit different. Outside is a great, and by the way, most of them are designed to go on the outside. That's no problem. Just like a breaker box or something like that, you can locate those on the outside. I like that because if they ever do fail for some reason, the worst thing that happens is water pours on the outside of your house. If water has to pour somewhere, that's the place where to go.
Good point.
Good point. So there are electric tankless water heaters. They do work. They function. You need to look at the ratings on them. So I don't mean like the star ratings. If I ever say ratings or reviews, it's never about that. I can assure you. I don't read them. I don't care what other people think. But anyway, so I don't care if your waitress at this restaurant didn't get you your crepe in time. I don't care. But what I'll tell you is look at how many gallons per minute it will do at what temperature. Okay, so for instance, if you go look at if you have a tanked water heater now, a conventional water heater, you go to look at what the thermostat is set on up there. It's probably about 120 degrees. So in other words, it keeps the water at 120, and if as fresh cold water pours into it as you're using it, it turns on either electric or gas and brings that all water temperature up to 120. Okay, well, about the best electric water heaters I've seen will do like 107 degrees, which is hot, but at 7 gallons a minute. So now if you're taking a shower, you have enough pressure taking a shower ordinarily because you're mixing hot and cold, right? Because you got 120 degree hot water. So you're going to mix some cold water with that because you're not going to take a shower in 120 degree water, at least not for very long, unless you're really tough. So you're going to mix it so you have a lot of pressure. Well, on the electric tankless water heater, you're going to be running almost completely on the hot water valve and just mixing a little bit of cold water because 107 at 7 gallons a minute is not really all that much. So what you might find is that it doesn't really get or stay real hot. It makes sense because the water is moving through a very small manifold, like something the size of a little bit bigger than a breaker box, and electric elements are having to heat that water. Well, that water may be 55 degrees coming out of the ground or out of your well. And so to heat it from 55 to 107, you can only imagine the amount of current that takes. And so what you are also going to see is your electric meter go crazy. So,
oh yeah,
that's just something to think about, that they are there, they function, we have installed them. We typically have to put a larger service on the home because they use so much amperage. They typically have their own 50 amp breaker they need to be tied on. So I'm a fan of them if they're gas. So propane or natural gas, tankless, I'm a fan. You're not going to use less. You're not going to save money, in my opinion. You're not saving money using them. They don't claim to save you money. Well, some may claim to save you money, but most of them don't claim to save you any money. So yes, the truth is you're not. Their big claim is, well, you don't want to heat water if you're not using it. If it's just sitting there, you're paying to heat it. Okay, that's true. And a typical conventional gas water heater sitting in your garage or in your attic is about a 30 or 33,000 BTU, British Thermo Unit, because it's sitting there. So the gas heats it. It's in a cylinder. The water is stagnant. It's just sitting there. It's easy to heat it. Just like if you were to take a pot and put it over a fire, it's going to heat it. Well, tankless, it's not. Tankless, the water is moving through there. There's no tank. So you have fire like blasting it from both sides, which is about 90,000 BTUs. So whatever you might be saving in water, in gallons per minute of water that you're not using, I promise you, you are spending in either natural gas or propane to heat it. So, will it save you money on water? Technically, yes, but you're going to spend every bit of that on the fuel to heat it. But again, you don't have that, particularly on a vacation home or something like that. You don't have water sitting in the house, which is when you're a crazy home builder like me. If you ever go to a second home, or we were raised going to my grandparents' cabin or this lake house or whatever, when we leave, we drain the house, including the water heater and everything. Mm-hmm. So that's just, I'm a bit manic about that, but you'll only show up one or two times with, ceiling hanging down before you decide we're not doing this again.
Yeah. Oh. All right. We got Russell. He was asking, we are at the paint on our Gonzalez C and was wondering about one of the slab sides is exposed. Is there any finishing that can be done, or is that an extra add-on?
Okay, so let's see. We don't typically paint it, that's for sure. Nowhere that we build do we paint it. It depends on where we're building as to what we do on the exterior. So what you'd want to do is get with your building superintendent, as I know you're in Lavaca County, and find out for sure. But typically, no, there's not anything that we do like exposed on the side or anything like that we change. We certainly don't paint it. There are some areas where we do what's called a sand topping or an underpinning. But it's not everywhere. So I would definitely encourage you to get with your building superintendent and find out for sure. But that is I think Jonathan's is the builder, but I don't think that's something that we typically do in that area. So check with Jonathan and be sure.
Okay. All right. We have Danielle asking, the concrete ramps on the entrances were missing during our foundation pour. Is that an easy fix? Will it still look aesthetically pleasing if they are added later?
So yeah, I mean, if it wasn't done at the pour, it's no problem. I know we've done them before on our sales centers that are done after the fact, and you really can't notice if it was done monolithic or otherwise. And if they were in fact missed, yeah, certainly with the building superintendent, and we'll get that rectified. That was something that you paid for, we didn't do. If that happened, my apologies. So, but yeah, it's not a big deal to do them later. They're not a structural part of the home holding anything up. So that's not a problem.
Okay. All right. And then we've got Will Rhodes coming in from Klondike. Hope y'all are having a blessed week and weekend, waiting for this rain and thunderstorms to come through and get done. I got to process my meat chickens on Friday. Got a greenhouse delivered yesterday. And last Saturday, we picked up 4 red wattle feeder piglets. Yay! We added.
Yes. Yep. Bacon awesome. is in process. Pigs are amazing because they're the only things you can feed vegetables to and turn those vegetables into bacon. It's incredible.
Bacon.
It's amazing. Yeah.
That is a good investment right there. I
They
like
turn
that.
vegetables into bacon. It's great. I love it.
All right. And that is it. I think we're done.
All right. Well, folks, thank you all so much for watching. Of course, this is not it doesn't have to end here, Dawn. It does not have to end here. Where else
No.
could people find us if they need to get a question answered?
Well, the first place that they can actually find us is on our website. So I will pop that up. If you go to tilsonhomes.com, or you can call that 800 number, you will reach our OSC team. So our team of new home specialists who are there to answer all of your burning questions. You can reach them at any time, 7 days a week there. We also have 12 locations throughout the state that you can come visit in person, and that new home specialist team will be glad to set you up with an appointment. There, you can find us on the Instagram. You can find us right here on Facebook or YouTube, whichever one you're on. We have a blog where we replay all of this stuff. Quite frankly, it's pretty hard not.
Yeah, you have to deliberately try to hide from us. Anyway, yeah. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for bearing with us. We appreciate you through this crazy, crazy time. And anyway, we hope to soon make you part of the Tilson family. We'll see all you guys later.
Bye, everybody.